Morning, this is Jeff, the Sewer Tech Northwest. We're at 30352 East Road, 12, lot 131. Dropping into the 3-inch ABS cleanout right out by the front door. Zeroed out there. We have a little bit of water running right now just to help keep the camera clean, the lens anyway. Alright, starting to get into a spot here where we might have our action. Now, you've got a belly in the line there, but no obstruction. This is a two-way clean out. We'll run backwards here in just a moment. Oh, that's your septic tank right up ahead here. There it is. Alright, so you probably already know this. You may not, but I'll mention it anyway. As you face the front door, you got your 3-inch ABS clean out just to the left of it. You identified that for us. So the line goes straight away from the house and then wraps around and hits the tank on the right side of the home. I put a little green or a little pink flag down. Oh, you know what? Let's turn the water off here. I put a pink flag down right where the line hits the tank. So, and you can see the lid just beyond that. Very shallow, 2 foot 6 inches deep there. So we're gonna kill the water here. I just wanted to mention real quick. The top of the pipe, at least out to this point, is quite clean and clear. No major backup debris or evidence. So, from the looks of it right now, you've actually got a pretty nicely installed line too. I've cambered thousands of septic lines. You can see there's a little bit of standing water right here. Relative to nearly every other septic system out there, this is graded very nicely. I can tell you when I'm within 5 feet of almost every septic tank, because the last 5 feet of almost every septic line will end up bellying out. You'll have an inch or more of standing water. So what you've got here is maybe a 1/16 to a 1/4 inch. So actually pretty nicely installed line. It's very common to have a little settling at the end of the line. Doesn't make it a good thing, but it's extremely common. And usually it's much more significant than that. That right there has basically no bearing on anything, on functionality at all. And doing a pretty good job of keeping the line clean here. There's a little bit of grease buildup. That stuff you see on the sidewalls there is a little tiny bit of it. It's pretty minor stuff, really. This is probably the most significant defect in the line right here. You've got a belly in the line, similar to kind of what you have out there near the tank, but just it's a larger version of it. Dissipates off there at about 12 feet. So, and for reference, where I generally start to recommend repairs on bellies is once you're around the inch mark of standing water, which we're at that point here, for around 5 feet or more. So, but even this spot here, I can tell there has been some kind of sewer event. You have a little bit of film at the top of the pipe there. But generally when you're seeing a line immediately after a backup has occurred, you have a pretty significant amount of debris hanging from the top of the sewer line. What you have right there kind of looks like a spot that may have clogged, backed up for a moment, and then broke loose on its own. It's nothing major, but I will mark it out because it is close proximity to the home. That's where bellies are at higher risk for causing backups, because if they block, you don't have a lot of leeway for pipe to fill up to create head pressure and then break the blockage loose naturally. Okay, so you're 11 inches deep right here. This is one that I would recommend a repair on. Again, doesn't look like we're seeing signs of over and over and over recurring type backup scenarios, but it's close proximity enough that it's one that ideally I would like to see corrected. Again, so if imagine the same blockage occurs 50 feet out, you have a lot of pipe to fill up, which creates a lot of head pressure, and that water weight often pushes blockages through. When you're within 5 feet of the home, that you just don't have the same ability to build up head pressure to break things loose. Yeah, you're only about 10 to 11 inches deep here, so very, very shallow, easy to get to. That's marked out with green paint, kind of out in front of the doorway area. It extends from basically straight out in front of the front door to about where the straight out from the front right corner of the house. You'll see the paint out here. I do recommend rescoping anytime you're regrading a line. It's a good idea no matter what kind of repair you're doing, but ideally you want to have a camera in the line checking this thing out before anyone leaves the repair site once you put a load on top of the line. The other thing you really want to avoid doing when your lines are this shallow is parking on top of the sewer line. That weight just sitting on top of a spot like that year after year after year can very easily belly a sewer line out, create offset joints, all kinds of fun stuff. Okay, we're now going backwards inside the home here. Camera is upside down at the moment. Quite a clean line going backwards. That pipe right there looks a little cattywampus. The way that it got stubbed into there. In fact, I don't want to go pushing too far into that. This might be an area of concern right here. It looks like you've got debris packed into that spot there. Okay, flushing the downstairs toilet that's just inside the house. Straight in from the front door. You flush it? You flushed?
Yeah.
Really?
Yep.
Hey. Weird, I didn't even hear it.
Clyde, come here. Clyde.
Where is that water
Come
coming
here.
from?
Hey, come. Come here.
What?
Lay down. Down. Lay down. Lay down. Stay. Do it again.
Just a second. There's water trickling through here. Gross, Clyde. All right, so we're sitting right next to where the toilet is, straight inside the front door. The toilet's off right now, and I've got the shower running. It looks like they're both routing through the tie-in. It's kind of at the top right-hand corner of the screen right now. The drain directly in front of us is all gunked and packed full of junk, but I don't see water actually traveling through it. Where is this water coming from? All right, so where my camera's parked at the moment is kind of right about where the wall is at that divides the downstairs bathroom from the kitchen area. I just turned the kitchen sink on. All right, so I'm gonna go check the toilets. I haven't had water running for quite a while now, and we still have water percolating through the line, which indicates one of two things. Either a toilet flapper is not shutting off all the way and letting a little bit of water get down line, or the line, there's a particular part of the line right now that it's backed up to some extent and it's slowly percolating through. All right, so we're gonna give this a shot here. There's no guarantees. It's a tricky thing to accomplish, but so I just went and shined a light under the house. So I can see the configuration, so I can put this entire puzzle together in my head here. So again, as you face the house, face the front door of the home, you've got the bottom floor bathroom. It's basically at the back right part of the house. And then you've got the upstairs toilet that's kind of at the front left corner. So the upstairs toilet drops down and ties into the sewer line right before the line leaves the house. In fact, that's it right there. We're just barely going back into the home right now. There's the front of the house. Drop in here within about a foot. Boom, there's your upstairs toilet line tying in right there. That tie-in on the left side is the upstairs toilet. That right there is just a little cobweb. So we're going straight back right now into the home, or close to it. There's a little bit of a bend in the line, but see in here, this part of the line right here is very clean. Does not look like a line. In fact, most everything I've seen so far does not look like it's seen any kind of backup scenario. Okay, so we've got the drain. So, all right, so here's your problem. So now I've got myself all oriented. So this drain right here, you can see how it necks down to a smaller diameter. Bear with me a moment. Okay, that's the kitchen sink there. You can see how it's coming straight to that small diameter pipe. Okay, so I just shut the kitchen sink off. I just wanted to show this to you. So that line right there that's completely plugged, that is your toilet. That's the branch of pipe that comes out the toilet on the downstairs area. What it's plugged with is kind of hard to say. Let's see if we can get this puppy. That right there is a beautiful sight when you see water pouring through like that. I have a feeling we're going to hear the explosion of success here in a moment, which is what we want to hear. Look at that, water's moving through. How you like them apples?
You want me to flush it?
All that water is not water we're even running. Get. That's all, the whole branch of pipe is completely backed up. All right, just did a toilet flush there. That's your toilet flush blasting through there. Beautiful thing. All right, that's my fourth toilet flush now. Just simply flushing and everything's ripping through. So you do, in case you haven't already figured it out, there is a leak under the crawl, or in the crawl area, right below that bottom floor toilet. You can see the drip drips where the ground's been carved out. Looks like it's been going on for a while. So the pipe in the crawl space is to some extent out of grade. You can see I have water that's standing here like this. This is not what you want. Doesn't mean you're going to get a blockage every time you flush the toilet, obviously, but the way that some of these joints look, the way they're kind of cattywampus, some of them almost appear to be dry fit. I don't know that with absolute certainty, but if your joints are dry fit, they're not glued, they're not going to stay together. They're going to shift over time. And what you end up with is settled pipe. And some of it rests on the ground in such a way that you could theoretically even get water escaping the line, and it can be very hard to see it if the pipe is resting on the ground. But you can tell right here where that debris spot is at the top of the pipe that stuff is from time to time hanging up there before it breaks loose. So under proper usage scenarios, treating the septic system as it's supposed to be, folded toilet paper, things like that, you're not necessarily going to get problems residing from it. But under scenarios where people are balling up toilet paper, wipes, paper towels, things of that nature, different animal altogether. Stuff will stop up in this standing water and it's going to stay there. And if it's not something that can disintegrate, yeah, I don't want to try and ram my, this set of turns we're going through right here is kind of wonky. It's putting a lot of strain on my camera. But we're up inside that branch of pipe that goes to that toilet. I'm actually surprised we still have water even percolating out of here right now. There's no debris dam there that's causing that water to stand. It is just out of grade. Yeah, that set of turns, I have to force my camera through there in a way I'm really not comfortable with. I'm just worried it's going to damage the camera. It's a wonky set of turns. It's possible, just be aware. I wish I could get my camera around this corner safer. It's just a hard set of turns to go through. Anyway, what my concern is here, there's still a little bit of water trickling through the line. By and large, I don't hear any sound at the toilet, like the flapper's not shutting off all the way. Just be aware. I mean, sometimes you can get things stuck in the toilet itself, in the U-bend under the toilet, that can cause debris to move really slowly. Water might get around it, but it can slow the debris down so much it just doesn't move with much oomph. I'm getting a little bit further in here. Let's see. Yeah, that looks like that's the base of the toilet right there. That's the turn. Yeah, that's the bottom of the toilet. Hey, Jeffrey.
Yes, sir.
Will you flush that toilet really quick?
Yeah.
Downstairs one. We should see water instantaneously drop down here. We flush that toilet. Yep, there we go. All right. So anyway, the line's clear. That's the base of the toilet we made it to there. I was actually able to wiggle my way up into it. So you definitely have a pipe that's out of grade. That's a lot of, well, I mean, it's a combo. I think someone put improper debris down the line, coupled with the fact that you've got, dang near 2 inches of standing water at its worst point down there, just after we go through that Y branch. And it's a bad combination. When you get a set of turns like that with standing water, turns naturally slow things down anyway. You put an inch or two of standing water on top of it, and it's going to catch stuff. So anyway, the line as it sits is clean and clear. The only part of the line I can't make any account of is whether or not someone could have flushed some kind of object and that got stuck in the toilet, theoretically. You know, beyond that, you saw the blockage break loose live in action there. So I'm pushing back out of the septic really quick just to make sure any chunks of debris that broke loose didn't hang up. And you are clean and clear going out to the septic system. So under proper usage scenarios, pretty unlikely to lead to a problem, but that is something I would recommend fixing. You've got a belly on the outside here, just outside the door. That is not what actually led to the problem here. The spot that caused the problem is under the house. That's where the blockage occurred. Anyway, line's functioning out this time, but I would recommend corrections to both the gradation of the pipe under the house. You know, ideally I'd like to see the belly corrected on the exterior here as well. But as we sit right now, line's doing its job. But you need to obviously treat it like a septic system. Improper stuff's going to get hung up in there.